Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. A recap of different fights from Germany and also Canada in this video. So what we'll do, two different cards in Germany which will cover Zhan Kossobutskiy's return, Muurad Aliev also on that card. Elsewhere in Germany, which we'll cover briefly, I haven't seen those fights, but I have the result, including an upset knockout. More on that soon. And then we'll round out the video with Canada, with Alexis Barriere starching Adam Braidwood. But first, Zhan Kossobutskiy, the Kazakh heavyweight, unbeaten, facing Hussein Muhamed. So this was on a Universum Box Promotions card, which you can find on YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel. And Kossobutskiy, it was just easy work. Hot knife through butter. Bearing in mind Hussein Muhamed coming into this one, he was unbeaten. He had some ambition, and he tried to really sort of swing for the fences in the first round or two, but was finding fresh air. And Zhan Kossobutskiy, as he so oftenly does, just sort of almost like he's half asleep, sort of languidly just moving around the ring, not doing too much, warming into the fight, and then starting to rip in body shots. So he puts down Hussein Muhamed near the end of the first round. And this was a feature of the fight. Zhan Kossobutskiy, one of the best body punchers in the heavyweight division, drops Hussein Muhamed in round two as well, also from a body shot. And Muhamed, he was mad, smashing the canvas with his hand, and it was all downhill from here. So you had another body shot knockdown in round three. Two of them, in fact, one with the left hand, one with the right hand, and these were off the back of other body punches, also a flurry of punches leading up to them. So Zhan Kossobutskiy had him on the rack, and he didn't let him get off the hook there. So following up, a flurry of punches, and third knockdown in the round comes when a left hand floors Hussein Muhamed, as you can see here, out face first on the canvas, and he took a little while to get up, and the referee waved it off immediately. I guess 5 knockdowns in 3 rounds. We probably didn't really need to see too much more. But Zhan Kossobutskiy returns. He gets another impressive looking stoppage, and he's making a habit of this, and the feature of the fight was the body work. Again, he barely got out of first gear. He almost looked disinterested to some extent, like he was half asleep, but he gets the job done with a minimum of fuss. And again, he showed his defense is pretty good, always in position to sort of take a step back and avoid some of the wild swinging haymakers that you could see coming from a mile away. And for the most part, he didn't really take any punishment. There was 1 or 2 shots that came in, one cuffing right hand that sort of, when he was off balance, sort of took a few steps off to one side. But apart from that, didn't take any punishment, and easy work. Zhan Kossobutskiy is ready for much bigger and better tests, and the question is, can he get it? He does have some rankings, a WBC ranking, which, you know, you would hope that he could actually utilize. He's got one of their minor titles. So we'll see what happens for Zhan Kossobutskiy in 2023, because, as I say, he's in the Who Needs Them club. You've got others in there that include Martin Bakole, and probably think of a few others. People don't want to fight them. His name had been mentioned by Justice Hooney's promoter, Dean Lonergan, but to me, I just think that's promoter speak, a promoter coming up with a whole bunch of names. At the moment, Kossobutskiy is plying his trade in Germany, but he'll be looking for onwards and upwards for opportunities to face guys with rankings, for eliminators and such. Why would he go to Australia to face a guy in Justice Hooney who's 7 fights in, has no rankings, and the only thing really he could give him is a payday? But perhaps that would be something he could consider. It just sort of seems unlikely, especially they were talking originally for next month. I mean, you're dreaming. Some other names were mentioned as well, but Kossobutskiy, he's ready for a big fight. And Frank Warren does have a promotional stake in Zhan Kossobutskiy, hasn't utilized it yet. Will he? Probably not with his main heavyweights, but certainly I mean, it would be good for Frank Warren to get him on some different cards that he has in the UK to help build his name and profile a bit, because at the moment, he is a forgotten heavyweight to some extent. A lot of fans, because he's fighting in Germany, he's out of sight, out of mind. People don't know who he is. And I do suggest you go watch that fight if you haven't seen him fight, because you can get it for free on YouTube. Universum Box Promotions, he's a talent. He legitimately is a guy who I think is top 10 to top 15 type talent. He just needs opportunities against bigger name guys to actually sort of solidify his position in the division. At the moment, he's kind of on the outside looking in. What can Universum Box Promotion do for him? Also on the card, you had Mourad Aliev, the French Olympian, who many people may remember from that sort of disqualification against Fraser Clark with the headbutts and stuff like that. So the White Wolf, as he calls himself, he was in against well-travelled and very experienced veteran journeyman Yakup Saglam. And this was the most aggressive that I've seen Mourad Aliev in his career to date. He just came forward and hit the go button, and it was all over Yakup Saglam from the outset, just letting his hands go, and very aggressive. But the problem with Mourad Aliev is not a lot of power. Couldn't knock the skin off a rice pudding. So this was really putting it on Yakup Saglam. He was piecing him up. Yeah, he was. And he was actually sort of hurting him at different spots. But the thing is, didn't have enough pop in his punch to put him out. So what ended up happening, and you had it was a weird situation in round two. A bit of a punch. They were in close, bit of a punch somewhere sort of around the sternum region. It's sort of, the camera sort of was obscured. Saglam sort of lurches off to the side, turns his back, and then turns around complaining to the referee, who starts giving him a count. It was bizarre. But what we had from there was just a procession similar for the next couple of rounds. But you had Mourad Aliev starting to tire, and it was pretty obvious in round 4 that he pretty much, blown most of his load, and was starting to, his volume was dropping, and Saglam started to take a bit of confidence. He was coming forward on the front foot. He was starting to let his hands go. Maybe not enough to win the round, but it was a case where Aliev looked like he was starting to ail just a little bit. And the referee, though, looked at one of the cuts that was over the right eye of Saglam, had a look at it, got the doctor to have a look at it, bit of a break in proceedings, and I thought, okay, he hasn't shown any interest in that cut until now, and there was no real sort of need to stop the fight when he did, but he did. Doctor looks at it, says, no, that's fine, just put a paper towel and just sort of cleared the blood just from the cut, had a look, action resumes. Early in the 5th round, the referee, and this is after their trading, and remember, Saglam's seeming a little bit revitalized, referee just waves it off, and it was for the cut. Didn't like what he saw, and it's a win for Mourad Aliev. I thought it was a bit suspicious and a little bit dodgy, and you had Yakup Saglam just like, what's going on here? He was seething at what had happened. But it is what it is. I kind of thought it was a bit suspect and dodgy. If you saw it, what did you make of it? Also on that same card, the YouTube Universum Box Promotion channel, you can catch it there. So what we'll do is we'll briefly jump to another card in Germany. You had 2 different German heavyweight fighters, younger heavyweights who were in action. Peter Kadiru returning, Viktor Jurk, he was in for his 3rd pro fight, and we'll start with Jurk first because he got a win over his opponent, and that was a 1st round knockout. Haven't seen it, this is just what's being reported on their Instagram. This is P2M Boxing Promotion on their page, but also you had Peter Kadiru. He was upset, stopped in the 1st round, and so see here, this is what he's posted saying: I lost my first fight as a pro boxer. I unfortunately lost the first event to my new promoter, P2M Box Promotion. I wasn't focused and I got hit hard in the 1st round. That's why I lost the fight by knockout. I'll learn from my defeat and another becoming a better boxer. So very interesting. I've said in the preview and previously as well, Peter Kadiru is kind of betwixt and between at the moment. He's trying to transition his style away from that technician sort of style that, where he's safety first, to a guy who's more aggressive. I don't know what's happened here because I haven't seen it. but he's lost his first fight now, 14-1, against a guy who was heading into this fight, a journeyman with a record of 23-11. And sometimes Hail Marys from journeyman, they do, pay off. But yeah, I'll be interested to catch that tape if any of it actually does emerge. But Kadiru, a shock upset loss. And rounding out this video with a fight from Canada. So this is one I was looking to see. Adam Braidwood, very fun fighter, had a good fight with Simon Keane actually, and then he's been out of the ring for 3 years. He was facing prospect Alexis Barriere, and heading into this one, Braidwood 14-2, Barriere, who was 7-0, he was the A-side Barriere, and it looked like this was a good prospect development fight for Barriere, but was it too much too soon? And I have to admit, hadn't seen too much of Barriere ahead of this one, but I do like what I see. So he starches Braidwood in the first round. Braidwood comes forward, puts the pressure on, looking a little bit stiff and looking like he's had 3.5 years out of the ring, throwing and missing quite a few power shots. And then you had Barriere starting to get his timing in, starting to jab, hit the target, lands the left hand a couple of times, and then he nails him again with another left hand. Down goes Braidwood, gets up, beats the count. Referee doesn't like what he sees. Braidwood's a little bit all over the place, and it's waved off in the first round. And Braidwood, he wasn't happy about it, but I think on balance, the referee probably got it right. He looked all over the place. So, another guy to keep an eye on, Alexis Barriere. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of his fights, and hopefully this one here, this card was on Fight TV, so I was able to catch it there. Hopefully there will be some more broadcast options going forward. Sometimes you can get some decent fighters on different cards, and they're in good development fights, but you never get to see them. So it was available. It was only $10 or whatever it was. So yeah, I ended up getting that one, and yeah, shame for Braidwood, but Alexis Barriere, another name to watch. What did you make of it? If you caught the fight, Zhan Kossobutskiy, easy work, defeats Hussein Muhamed, drops him 5 times. Peter Kadiru upset. The White Wolf Mourad Aliev gets a win. And then, in maybe slightly suspicious circumstances, Viktor Jurk also wins. It was Kurt versus Jurk, and Jurk came out on top. And then we had Alexis Barriere starching Braidwood in 1. Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.